It's been kind of a crazy year and a half for everyone, especially with everything going on, COVID-19, and uh, just just so many crazy things happening. It's really weird how life changes and adapts as you go through it, and how you kind of learn new things, and then the old things are kind of adapted and melded into new things. And we're kind of living in such an interesting time where the economy was shut down by COVID-19 and the markets seem to be recovering and everything seems to be recovering, which is great. We're just in a weird time where what's going on doesn't seem entirely sustainable as far as how real estate prices are shooting up through the roof. They're up 15-20% across the board. Stocks have rebounded, and certain stocks we're looking at, AMC, GameStop, have just seen these crazy fluctuations in prices and crazy. It's incredibly interesting for me to see. I really encourage everyone, if you haven't already read it, I'd recommend everyone reading The Richest Man in Babylon. And this is by no means financial advice. Please do your own due diligence. But as far as the fundamentals of investing and using your money for your own and your family's and your loved ones' benefits, the book highly focuses on the deep fundamentals of things through stories and parables. And if you're willing to put in that certain amount of time, then your life can be greatly changed and affected for the better. So when people can understand that we live in a consumeristic society where happiness is kind of based off of what, like, we always need something, we always have to go out and we're told that we have to go and buy it in order to be happy. We need this, we need that, we need the new iPhone, we need the new TV, we need to go on vacation or whatever. But the truth of the matter is, we don't really need a lot of these things that we say we need. And a lot of things we really need, we kind of glaze over. We don't really look at them. Things like our physical health, our mental health, our loved ones, having enough food, drinking enough water, getting enough exercise, being in nature. So there are actually like only a few fundamental things that we actually need. And then everything else is a want. And being able to distinguish between needs and wants is very, very important, especially when you're breaking down how you should spend your time, how you should spend your resources, like your money or whatever else it is you have at your disposal. Often we think things are fixed and there's just certain rules that we can't break, but the fact of the matter is the majority of rules that we have set out only exist in our minds, and once we realize we can bend the majority of the rules, life changes completely. These fears that we have of people, this person's gonna say that, or this person's gonna be disappointed in me, or I'm gonna look like an idiot. Once once you get past that, you realize that nobody cares, and the only thing that matters is your contentment and your happiness with your own life. And then you realize, well, damn, the only person who has to live with me for the rest of my life is me. And god damn, like, you should like yourself. And if you don't like yourself, then you should probably make a change. And you can't expect anyone around you to make a change for you. You can't blame anyone else. You have to accept that you have to make a change. If you want your life to be better, then you have to choose consciously to make your life better. And it probably won't happen in a day, a week, a month. But real lasting change comes from habit, from buckling down, making a conscious plan, and building habits that move you in the direction that you want to go. So you find out what it is you want to do, where it is you want to go, and then you read about, learn about people who have already done it. If no one's already done it, then, well, you make a plan, then you create small habits that push you in that direction over time, and then you course correct along the way. And as you go along, you learn more and you are able to move in that direction faster. And you'll know if it's really for you or if it's not for you. Because you won't be doing it for someone else. And I believe like one of those highly undervalued skills is the ability to read and enjoy reading. So a lot of people hate reading. They think it's like the worst, most boring thing ever. And it's kind of hard to blame them because of how the schooling systems work, how they force us to read things that we don't particularly care about. So people view reading and scholastic learning as something they're forced to do, something they have to do, when really learning should be fun and it should be interesting, and you should only read things that are valuable and interesting to you. Things that bring value to your life, not just because someone told you to do it, but because you enjoy it and it enriches your life. And once you realize that you can read, you can learn about things that actually pertain to you, that actually make your life better when you do them, then it flips a switch in your mind and it changes things from, oh my gosh, I have to do this blah blah blah, to, oh my god, like this super intelligent person wrote down this information and it's basically a life hack on how to get this whatever that I want. And instead of suffering for years and going through a bunch of terrible things in order to figure it out, I can just read his book and I can go straight to the finish line. As far as your physical health goes, and I'm not a nutritionist, this is not nutrition advice. As far as your nutritional health goes, that's one of the first and foremost things that you should be focusing on. Making sure you understand what you're putting into your body. You're drinking enough water. You're eating food that's not terribly processed, and you understand like the ingredients that you're putting into your body, or you're at least reading the labels when you grab food off the shelves. And it's not just like, oh, I don't get to eat food that tastes good, like this food tastes terrible. Like, you can eat food that tastes good and is good for you. And that was one of the big things that I was trying to do over the course of the past year and a half to 2 years, is finding food and making food combinations that actually taste good and are good for me, which would mean I could eat these things over the long term, lose weight, feel healthier, feel stronger, and enjoy my food at the same time. We have this mass idea that if the food tastes good, it's bad for you. And if the food tastes bad, then it's good for you. But that's just an idea. But it's not true. Food can taste good, and it can be good for you. And once once you can flip that switch in your mind, then it just becomes, how do I find food that tastes good and is good for me? And every single person has a different flavor palette. They like different kinds of foods. I have my specific kinds of foods that I have found that I enjoy, that taste good, good for me. And I've done like many different experiments on how I can lose weight, measuring my weight every day on the scale, eating oatmeal 5 days a week, or um, my exercise routine. So you have to do different experiments to see what really works for you. And you have to give those experiments enough time to see if they're actually going to work. And every single person is different. So what works for me may not work for you. Please do your own due diligence, find out what works for yourself. One of the things I've never really understood is why people are so against or so afraid to talk about finances, to talk about money. You see, we use money nearly every day in the majority of the things we do. People wake up in the morning and go to work. And a lot of people work all day and come home tired and frustrated. And then a lot of people say they don't care about money, which baffles me because why do you spend all day working and then say you don't care about money? Because you're going to work to earn money so you can pay for the things that you want and need. So why wouldn't you want to learn about money? And it's this weird paradoxical thing to me. So if money is this thing that we all use on a daily basis to buy the things that we want, we need, to take care of our families, why don't we really understand what it is? And there are just so many things that I could go into when talking about money. So money is this piece of paper issued by the government, and it's not backed by anything in particular except for the promise that the US government says that $1 equals $1. And it used to be backed by gold, but Nixon took us off the gold standard, so it's no longer backed by gold. And the government can essentially print money out of thin air. And this money in circulation is called fiat currency. And if you want to look more into, owning gold or owning certain investments or owning Bitcoin, these are like the various things that you can look into to hedge your bet against fiat currency and the government printing money. And a lot of people, they don't understand that. Why do people say? Why is there this saying is savers are losers? Why is that a saying? Well, it's because money's being printed by the government every single year. About 20% of all money that's ever been created was printed this previous year during the pandemic. Essentially meaning that everyone's cash, fiat, dollar bills have gone down in value by 20% because there's more cash in circulation, but there's not more stuff to represent that cash. So we know this by the word inflation. And if you didn't own assets, things that make you money, things that hold their value or go up in value over time, then your money lost value. And people who own things like real estate, stocks, bonds, cryptos, and who understand what they're owning, they made money over this past year. They made money over time holding these assets. But if you're holding your money in cash, or if you don't have money, then you lost money. Hence the saying, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. He who has, more shall be given to him. But he who has not, even that which he has will be taken away. So it's really, really, really important to understand how to use money, what it is, how can you preserve it over time to help yourself, to help your family, to help your loved ones. And money is not evil. Fire is not evil. It's all about how you use it. Money just makes you more of what you already are. And that's that. Anyway, long tangent. Oh, thank you for listening and watching. Remember, this is not financial, medical, Aloha Spirit advice. Please remember to dislike and unsub. And goodbye.